What's up, party people? Mr. ASMR Boy here. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button below. So, today, this is called a newspaper. Very archaic, I know. But it is actually kind of special. Not that special, but this is the Coyote Chronicle, and the student newspaper that I wrote and worked for when I was in college, going to school for my undergrad, my bachelor's degree in mass communication, media studies. So I figured, why not go through it? It's kind of a small little newspaper. I think it's like 8 pages, and I do have an article in here that I wrote, and we'll read a few excerpts from it. Also, I know a lot of my audience is pretty young, but how many of you guys have read a newspaper? How many of you guys still read a newspaper today? I know for me it's kind of half and half. When I see a newspaper, a physical copy, I get very excited, and but I get most of my news off of the internet, which there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, the news is the news as long as you get it. But yeah, let's dig in. So this is from Monday, November 30th, 2015. So about 5 years and 2 months ago. Sheesh, time flies. The independent student voice of California State University, San Bernardino since 1965. There is an article in here called CSUSB, the Snack Attack Champions. CSUSB won $2,500 as a first place prize from the National Peanut Boards Snack Attack competition, which will go toward the Den Food Pantry. The Office of Community Engagement at CSUSB competed with 24 other universities with campus food pantries in the National Peanut Boards Snack Attack competition, where positive messages about peanuts as a healthy snack were to be promoted through social media platforms like Twitter and Instagram. CSUSB beat out larger universities such as Pennsylvania State University. Diane Podolsky, director of OCE, sent an email to campus expressing how she wasn't expecting to win, stating, "Our campus food pantry isn't even a year old," and how she privately hoped she would get enough participation to land in the middle of the list, just enough not to be embarrassing. "I was wrong, so wrong," continued Podolsky. So, first thing I noticed in this, obviously I do this type of publishing work professionally now, but on the front page I noticed one error. Before a quote, one of the letters was lowercase and it should have been uppercase. Man, what's interesting is because I also was an editor for this newspaper at one point, not while this issue was out. I actually started editing January of 2016, so 2 months after this issue, but like literally about 6 to 8 students revised this paper, and on the front page, that's obviously everyone's still learning and getting in the groove of things, but so we have CFA file unfair labor practices suit. There's some briefs up here. We'll come back to the briefs at the end. Retrofit funding for homes across Southern California. house earthquake retrofit program based on zip codes has been expanded in California. Applications can be submitted in January at earthquakebracebolt.com. Homes in the following San Bernardino zip codes will be eligible for the program: 92404, 92405, according to Los Angeles Times. That's also another kind of, obviously it's a student newspaper. It wasn't like a for-profit paper, but usually in news you do not reference other publications because they're either one, your direct competitors, or two, not even your competition, because they're out of your realm of viewers and readers and whatnot. But that's something you usually don't do, is you don't reference another news source a lot of times. But like I said, it was a student newspaper, so not that big of a deal. Get a free ride to college. Okay, here's a great feature story that is probably still true today. So this one is called Eyebrows Through the Ages. Let's see what this article is all about. It says, women roughly pay about $140 to maintain their brows, according to Billboard.com. Women's brows have a relationship that has been thick and thin. Eyebrows have been a subject of women's fascination ever since the days of Cleopatra back in 3500 BC, according to an article in Marie Claire. It has been mentioned that the Greeks and Romans both considered a unibrow to be beautiful in their society, and it was the most desirable characteristic. In the Middle Ages, there was a shift in the way that women groomed their eyebrows. They went from having full to have them plucked to an inch of their lives, extremely thin, or in the case of the Mona Lisa, completely non-existent. This thin trend roughly continued into the Roaring '20s. In the 30s, the darkened thin trend was still in full force, but Hollywood actresses would exaggerate their brows by having them severely curved to add drama to their appearance. However, in the 40s, actresses were photographed with a somewhat thicker look and a prominent arch. In the 50s was when the trend with brows were thick and the perfect brow was born, thanks to actresses like Elizabeth Taylor, Audrey Hepburn, and Marilyn Monroe. Women's brows stayed the same for at least 4 decades until the 90s, where thin and overplucked brows were in again. Man, that really sucks, because I think eyebrows are one of those areas that if you pluck them, if you overpluck them, they ain't gonna grow back, and then you're left with tiny looking eyebrows. I'm sure that's happened to so many people out there around the world. But it says, then in 2015, brows are back to being full again, thanks to celebrities like Lily Collins and supermodel Cara Delevingne. But for someone who used to be tweezer happy, how do you achieve the coveted fuller brow look? With makeup, of course. There are plenty of eyebrow pencils, powders, pomades, tinted and clear brow gels, ranging from products found in Sephora and Ulta to CVS and Walmart, which can help you enhance your brows into the brows you've always wanted. Brands like Anastasia, Beverly Hills, NYX, L'Oreal, Urban Decay, and Maybelline, amongst others, have created products to help you enhance your brows, which will frame your face. There are different ways to maintain your brows: tweezing, waxing, or threading. Tweezing is the least expensive route, with tweezers ranging from $4 to $20. Just caught another error. There is no $sign in front of the 20 as there should be. Also, they provide more control with how much hair you want to remove. For those who don't have time to maintain themselves, there is an answer for you: Benefit Cosmetics Brow Bar. It is located in Sephora, Ulta, and other department stores, where they trim, tweeze, and wax your brows. Prices begin at $5 to $6 for a trim, $12 to $26 for a tweeze, and $20 to $23 for a wax. Waxing typically costs around $7 to $15 depending on what salon you go to. Those who wax their brows can't pluck hairs in between visits, and since it removes the first layer of skin, it is considered the most painful hair removal method. Yeah, it doesn't sound fun. Threading is a process in which unwanted facial hair is removed by twisting cotton thread to pull the hair from the follicle. Threading will cost you around $5 to $20 depending on what part of the body you want the hair removed from. Oh wow. So you could do your eyebrows, probably your mustache, probably your everything else. Do your butt. Threading will cost you $5 to $20. I read that. Whether you thread, tweeze, wax, fill in, or leave them natural, there are services and products out there to make your brows perfect and on point. It says, stay on fleek, ladies. That was actually, considering this is a college newspaper, that was a fairly interesting article. I don't remember reading that or coming across it. I'm sure we went over it. I don't remember, but I learned a thing or two. I learned that I knew what threading was, but I thought people only got their eyebrows threaded. I didn't know you can get other body parts threaded or body parts threaded, so good to know. Here's this one. Racial inequality causes college campus protests. So, there is a portion of the paper missing, and it is highly likely that that is the article that I wrote, and I cut it out. So, we will not be able to read the article I wrote. I don't know which one it was, but yeah, it kind of sucks. I cut it out. Recent protests at college campuses across California and the country have sought to bring awareness to racial inequality. In recent events, University of Missouri has shown to be a campus with a headstrong support system in order to bring an end to recent racism on campus. After many reported cases of demeaning slurs, threats, and overall unwelcoming vibes towards ethnic students, protests began to bring awareness to the issue, according to the San Bernardino Sun. Students were concerned that the president of Mizzou, Tim Wolf, had more than one chance to put an end to the hatred and went around the problem instead. This sparked attempts to try to pressure Wolf into resigning, according to CNN. locked his car off during a homecoming parade after a swastika was drawn out of feces on a residence hall wall. That is ridiculous. Student leader Jonathan Butler launched a hunger strike, which ultimately did not faze Wolf, according to CNN. Also, according to CNN, black players of the Mazzau's football team announced they wouldn't practice or play in any games until Wolf was removed from office. After they had support from their white teammates and coach Gary Pinkel, the Missouri Students Association asked Wolf for his response, and he resigned a few hours later. Students from around the nation are inspired by Mazzau students' persistence on the fight against racism on college campuses. Occidental College student Abhilasha Bola, who referred to Mazzau's fight as a huge win that showed what students were capable of, according to the San Bernardino Sun. Bola is the leader of the Oxy United for Black Liberation Students at her school, which organized a sit-in at the campus's administrative center to present a list of demands. These included that the administrators create a Black Studies program and add more resources and support for ethnic students, which the institution is hoping to address, according to oxy.edu/news. Another sit-in took place at Pepperdine University in solidarity with Mazzau students. Student Anthony Sanford took part in organizing the protest, which hoped to address action against racial comments on an anonymous smartphone application called Yik Yak, according to the San Bernardino Sun. I always find stories like this super inspiring, just because as young people and students like myself, like you, we have the power to form together to create positive change for everyone. And if you ever feel like you are facing inequality, any type of inequality, use your voice. Your voice matters, your voice counts, and do not take what is given to you. Make change and be that change. So always remember, you have a voice to make a difference in the world. Even if it impacts just one person, it is worth it. Graduation feels. My rise above the blue funk. 90s classic tunes. It says, millennials aren't oblivious to the subtle adult type humor or storylines featured in our beloved 90s cartoons. It's pretty crazy because that is so true. There was so many cartoons in the 90s that had somewhat like racy storylines or some adult leaning content that just completely flew over our head. In shows that were like Doug, was it Ren and Stimpy, Rocco's Modern Life, like all of those were pretty adult geared, and I remember watching those continuously as a child, but never thinking twice that the content was inappropriate. But let's see what this student wrote. Cartoons that aired in the late 90s and early 2000s remain an iconic staple among millennial college students. Hey Arnold, my favorite show. When I went to New York City back in 2019, I literally lived out all of my Hey Arnold dreams. For from riding the subway to walking down just the New York City busy streets, and mostly the subway part, because I remember him taking a subway all the time to or in various episodes, one of them he rode the subway to attend a Yankees game. So when I went, I immediately thought of Hey Arnold. I even posted on my Instagram. This was probably February 25th, 2019, somewhere around that date, living out all of my Hey Arnold dreams in New York City, and had the time of my life. But anyway, Hey Arnold, Courage the Cowardly Dog, the Powder Puff Girls, Rocket Power, and SpongeBob are just a few cartoons that students reminisced as being major components of their childhood. Cartoons such as these left such a large impact on students. They still remember what they enjoyed so much about them. One student said, "Courage the Cowardly Dog was weird and different, and I liked the animation style," said student Sierra White. The cartoon Courage the Cowardly Dog, which originally aired on Cartoon Network, seemed to be especially popular. Out of the 5 students I referenced, 4 mentioned Courage the Cowardly Dog in their list of top 90 cartoon staples. Cartoons during this time seemed to be so enjoyable because people related to or idolized the characters featured. I liked Rocket Power because I was the typical kid who wanted to be a pro skateboard when I grew up. That show was so dope. I actually wanted their life as well. Then I realized how impossible this was given my physique, said student Eric Moore. That's actually pretty funny. Lizzie McGuire was my favorite because I wanted to be her. I still do, said student Nadine Quaish. Television networks that aired some of these iconic cartoons, like Nickelodeon and Disney Channel, have caught on to just how popular these shows remain. The networks recognized that the popularity was so high that they decided to bring the shows back. Nickelodeon dedicated a whole night in October to bring back some of their classic 90s cartoons on a program called The Splat. During its debut, The Splat featured All That, The Angry Beavers, Are You Afraid of the Dark, Cat Dog. I loved Cat Dog too. Clarissa Explains It All. Do not remember that show. Hey Arnold, Hey Dude, Kenan and Kel. Kenan and Kel was the shit. The Ren and Stimpy Show. That's the one I was thinking of. Legends of the Hidden Temple. Rocko's Modern Life, yeah. Rugrats, yeah. Salute Your Shorts, and the Wild Thornberries. I love the Wild Thornberries too. I don't know, it just makes me happy, even mentioning the names of these shows, because I feel like so many of these shows kind of shaped not only my childhood, but obviously millions of childhoods around the world, and were a great escape when you were a child. And I think that's why cartoons are so amazing, because for 30 minutes, no matter what your home life is or what your situation is or how great or how awful a day was, you're able to turn on these cartoons and really lose focus of your reality and step into a fantasy world that was so relatable, enjoyable, and funny. So man, now thinking about it on that level, it's like, thank you Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, Cartoon Network for generating and creating these iconic shows to allow children across the world a moment to escape into a world where there's literally no worries or fears. So that's really cool. What was your guys' favorite classic 90s cartoons? Doesn't matter which network, but drop a comment below. Let me know what your favorite cartoon of all time is. Mine is definitely Hey Arnold, but honorable mentions go to Rocket Power and the Wild Thornberries. if you happen to catch a rerun of one of these classic 90s cartoons, you might notice some are not so kid-friendly themes or language. An article by Thought Catalog argued that these classic cartoons featured content not suited for children. We see adults cheekily inserting jokes into kids' shows that only parents will understand, said Samantha Smokin. Millennials aren't oblivious to the subtle adult-type humor or storylines featured in our beloved 90s cartoons. A lot of them had innuendos that only adults would catch, and that I am truly barely noticing now because I'm an adult, said White. There are things that I didn't understand or consider appropriate, but I don't think it matters because children wouldn't understand it. Just because this adult-type humor and content is easily detected now that we're adults, it doesn't mean it changes our feelings toward these classics. Looking back, I appreciate Dragon Ball Z a lot more because I understand the storyline instead of just waiting for the fights, said student John Orta. I think I know that person indirectly. Looking back, even though these cartoons might not be the latest trend, the creepy monsters from Courage the Cowardly Dog, the adventurers of the Hey Arnold crew, and crazy things SpongeBob and Patrick got a hold of remain iconic among millennial college students. I also do not remember reading or coming across this article, but I liked it. It was great to revisit it over 5 years later. Refugee asylum, a must in the United States. This one is titled Hold On to Yourself in Relationships by Sheree Hunt. I remember that girl. Her and I were on the same editing team, and she was so pissed off that I missed one day of editing. Like I mentioned to you guys, we as students would have to go through all of these, every single story with a highlighter, make sure everything is correct from punctuation to syntax to the context of the stories. And I missed one day, and she had pulled me aside and we got into it. Needless to say, we hardly ever spoke again after that, but the female characters cited in video games. Young girls and women need support. American Music Award entertainers get chic. So, this is what the stars looked like in 2015. Many of them still very relevant today. We got Jennifer Lopez, Justin Bieber, Zendaya, Gwen Stefani, and Bella Hadid, I believe. Oh, Gigi Hadid, my bad. Evolution of electronic dance music. Featuring, looks like this article is discussing David Guetta, DJ Tiesto. I've actually been to a club where Tiesto was playing. Calvin Harris and Armin Buren. I also seen Steve Aoki in Las Vegas at a club called, it's at the MGM. I forgot the name of the club. Hakkasan. That was a great time too. One less direct connection with Zayn Malik out of the picture, 1D starts their third world tour on the road again for their album Made in the AM. I guess this is around the time when 1D went from 5 members to 4. It's been a long time now. Adele breaks record with 25. Dang, it's so crazy that it's been this long since some of this like pop culture news came out or was prevalent. It says Julia Roberts takes hit for Secret in Their Eyes. I guess it's a movie. This one is staying fit during the holidays. Wow, I should have read that about 2 weeks ago. To gym or not to gym? Well, I would normally say to gym during a pandemic when it's so bad. For me personally, not to gym. I've been walking a lot though. I can't wait to go back to the gym now. I've contemplated going this week and just wiping everything down like I did when I was going in November. So I said I would read the briefs, so we'll end with the briefs. Coyote Chronicle briefs by Alden Styles. I remember this guy too. Internet Cafe Runway, November 22nd. A Chinese woman who has been missing for 10 years and was presumed dead was found living in different internet cafes close to her family's home, according to South China Morning Post. The young woman ran away from home at 14 and started to live off handouts and playing computer games until she was discovered. Wow. Post puts drunk in prison, November 22nd. A New Jersey woman was arrested for allegedly mocking police on social media after calling in a fake police report. Haley Oates, 25, allegedly dialed 911 to distract police from her location so she could avoid a DUI. Shortly after Oates posted, "Laugh my ass off," 2 minutes later the cop peels out. "Silly piggies, tricks are for you," according to NJ.com. 100-year movie releasing in 2115. The year, November 21st. Filmmaker Roger Rodriguez's latest project titled 100 Years was filmed in secret and won't be released until 2115. Ludovic Duplessis, global executive producer of Louis V, the luxury liquor for which 100 Years is a cross-promotion for, said Louis V is a true testament to the mastery of time, and we've sought to create a proactive piece of art that explores the dynamic relationship of the past, present, and future, according to MovieWeb.com. No jail for the NFL, November 23rd. On average, a player in the NFL gets arrested every 7 days, according to NFLarrest.com. Athletes have been arrested for numerous charges that include assault and battery, rape, illegal possession of firearms, among others. No luck with beer truck, November 23rd. A man from Columbus, Georgia, allegedly stole a beer truck, then was run over by it while trying to evade arrest. Gregory Miller, 56, was run over by the truck when he attempted to escape on foot. He was taken to a hospital for a possible leg fracture and arrested on 2 charges. What is wrong with people? Last one. Murder solved with a spelling, November 23rd, 2015. A British woman who attempted to murder her husband with antifreeze was caught and arrested when police discovered a spelling error in the letter letter she forged in his name. The letter contained the word dignity spelled dignity. According to the New York Post, when police asked her to spell dignity, she made the same mistake. Wow. Very interesting. Well, guys, my favorite party people, that is all I have for you. Remember, this is a newspaper. And let me know when the last time is that you picked up a physical copy of a newspaper. Well, that is all I have for you. I'm going to go chow down on some In-N-Out, not on camera, unfortunately. A double-double and some animal-style fries. I'm looking forward to it. I'm starving. I'm not really starving, but I'm hungry. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for listening. I appreciate your support. Also, to all of you guys who got me to 1,000 subscribers, again, I am grateful. Thank you very much. Make sure to like this video, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.